Hey everybody, it's David. This week is an exciting week. It is 1 year since I got my very first payment from YouTube for doing this channel. It was for $132.75. Yeah, that dollar amount may not seem life-changing, but it was a terrific moment. So I thought, in celebration, this would be a great time to do a video about my YouTube experience. I'm going to talk to you about why I started this channel, some of the challenges along the way, and then we're going to give that big reveal how much this channel has earned since that very first payment. And then at the end, I'd love to give you some encouragement. I would love to encourage you, if you've ever thought about starting a YouTube channel, let's talk about why you should do it. And then finally, at the very end, just a big old thank you to those of you who watch. So, hey, happy anniversary to me. Are you ready to talk about it? Let's do it. Okay, here normally I would transition into talking about the 3 things we talk about on this channel. And that is part of my why. So if you go back to December 4th of 2023, that was my termination date from T-Mobile. I've been there with Sprint for over 27 years, and I had been notified of my layoff back in September. I actually was notified on the week of my 27-year anniversary with the company. So I thought I would do a series of videos talking to people that have been laid off like me. Got a lot of experience with layoffs. Throughout my career, I've been through over 20 of them. I documented, I think it was 2022. And then that last one is the one that got me, which was great because it was totally my hope and dream that I would get laid off when I got ready for early retirement, get a severance, and it would carry me into the next year, which is exactly what it did. But I wanted to create a video to help people who were experiencing what I was experiencing personally and what I have seen other people experience. I did several videos on that. I think that they were terrific. I hope if you go through something like that, you watch it. And then I started thinking about, well, what could I do next? And then it came to me. I'm going to make videos about my early retirement, about how a regular guy like myself, someone with a very poor financial background, grew up relatively poor. My mother filed for bankruptcy several times, just no good money examples, and how someone like me with average income could become financially independent, and how that person could also retire early and finally, and probably most importantly, work to live your best life today, because I truly feel like that anyone can. So I made a commitment that I was going to make 1 video a week. Yes, I was aware of monetization. That was never my goal. My goal was to make the videos to help people do those things. And so that's what I started out doing. And let me tell you, I think a lot of folks here on YouTube, especially in my niche, in this early retirement and retirement niche, we make it look easy. Like we just turn the camera on and start talking. And I know there's people that have that ability. I'm so very jealous of them. That is not me. It's a struggle. It's a struggle to sit down and talk and try just to not completely ramble, which is something I'm really good at doing. It's also a struggle to get ideas for the videos. For the ideas, like most people, I always have my phone with me. If I'm listening to a podcast or I'm out on a walk and an idea pops up, I'll just plug it into a spreadsheet and kind of save it for later. There's also the technological issues. I don't have anything fancy. I just have my iPhone here on a stand and I'm facing an outside window for the lighting. I've got a little microphone sitting here. So the technology was not that big a deal, but if you go back and see some of my older videos, I went through a period of time where I was really struggling with sound. I tried some different mics and different things, and that was an issue as well. Another issue that I have is a bit of perfectionism. I haven't really talked about my career, but prior to being laid off, I was in HR for 3 years. And that's a whole story in itself, a good one. And prior to moving to HR, I was in training. I started out my training career as a sales trainer. Later on, I moved into leadership training, did that for a few years. And then for the last, probably 20 years of my career, I was a training manager. So I led teams of people who trained others. So I had a bit of skill and education on speaking and training. And that's actually kind of a bad thing. I wish I could just turn the camera on and talk and not worry about, all the things I was taught during these years, learning about training and speaking, but that always pops in my head and it becomes a bit of a barrier at times. As a result, early on, I would often record and re-record, or I'd start and stop, and I get so frustrated, eventually I would just throw my hands up and give up. There are some videos out there that are 8 and 10 minutes long that I really probably spent 8 and 10 hours trying to get done. And I'm still working to get better at that. I'm trying to be more spontaneous and just talking to the camera. I've never used a script. I do always have an outline of what I'm trying to talk about at least, and that is becoming a little more helpful. Another thing is, and it's pretty rare, is the negative comments. 99% of people who leave a comment on YouTube, whether my channel or others, unless the video is completely terrible or something, are very positive and supportive. Occasionally you get that negative comment. I've had comments about my speaking skills or the structure of the video. You do get the videos even about your looks, all kinds of things. I have learned not to be impacted by the negative comments. I am still thankful that that person took the time to at least watch the video and leave a comment, even if it may come across as negative. Some of the negative comments are actually great because they aren't actually negative. They're more challenging feedback to what I've said. And those turn into other videos that I can talk about. Like there was one commented about how boring my life must be, and that made a great video, I thought. And there are people that have criticized the finances, saying, hey, there's no way you did that. And that helps me come up with an idea for a video to follow up for that. Another thing is often some of my favorite videos that I put just tons and tons of work in, and I get so excited about, that release day when you press the button and it goes live where the world can see it, and very few people watch. It turns out a lot of my absolute favorite videos are the least watched. But I've said this many times, where I have worked to change my mindset, those least watched videos at 200, 300, less than 500, that's great. Because if I had 200 people here in this house listening to me, what an amazing thing that would be. And if one person watches one of those videos and gets something positive out of it, well, then I am very, very happy. Now here's the bottom line on it. YouTube is hard in a way. It's not as easy as you might think. But even with all those struggles, I think it has been worth it. So what have I earned on YouTube? I can't even start to talk about it without thanking you. There are no earnings if there is no one watching. So you are 100% responsible for every one of these earnings. So thank you, thank you, thank you. First of all, here's the criteria to monetize your channel if you did not know. There's two things. One is that you must have at least 1,000 subscribers. And then the second thing is you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time. So once you've got those two things, you got those subscribers and you got those watch time, then your channel can be monetized. The actual amount of how much you earn has really nothing to do with that subscriber account. It is those watch hours. That's what YouTube wants. They want people to watch the videos, do the thumbs up, and then hopefully watch those ads that get put on it, and that's basically how the revenue is generated. Okay, so I mentioned that first payment of $132. Well, I'm going to pop up here on the screen. I'm going to show you every payment I have received, and let's talk about it a little bit. So you can see here in August, November, and December, those payments. And so for 2024, my total revenue from this YouTube channel was $700.55. That is amazing. Again, so very excited. And then you look, here is January, March, and whoa, wait a minute. What happened in April? You see that $1,200, $1,238.08. Well, I did this spontaneous video about doing Amazon Flex, which is a little part-time thing that I've been doing. Yes, I will do an update soon on how things are going with Amazon Flex. And for whatever reason, YouTube just took off on that video and started sharing it all over the place to give people the opportunity to click on it. That video is approaching 500,000 views, which is absolutely incredible. The weird thing about it is that it's really not my niche. I say in that video, hopefully more than once, it's been a while since I watched it, that I am not a flex channel. I'm not a gig channel. I am an early retirement financial independence channel, and that's not what I'm about. But doing an activity like that is something that I felt like someone in my situation, someone who has retired early or is retired, might find beneficial. But for whatever reason, YouTube keeps pushing that video out. I'm averaging 2,000 or 3,000 views a day still from that video, which I am very thankful for. Now, if we keep looking, you can see the other months, those are still great dollar amount. But I can tell you, and it's very interesting, is that the revenue that you're seeing there is mostly from, go back to that Amazon Flex video. Actual revenue from a video for me, my average views are less than 1,000. It's going to be about $5 to $10. Yeah, that's right. I'll spend 4 or 5 hours on a video. I know that I'm going to publish it and I'm probably going to make $5. Again, it goes back to my thought philosophy that it's not about the money, it's about the difference and how hopefully I can help people with my content. So altogether, I've made $2,950 off of this channel, which some people, it might not seem like a lot. To a lot of people, I think that would seem like a lot, especially if you're someone like me. I am living in a very low cost environment. You know, I don't have a whole lot of money I need to spend every month. And that $300 or $200 or whatever, it really makes a big difference. So again, I can't say thank you enough. Putting the money aside, there are many other rewards I have received as a result of this channel. I'm one of those, you got to have a purpose in retirement kind of people. And this channel has given me a bit of a purpose. Now, I have that goal to record that video once a week. That gives me something achievable every week that is important to me. My other purpose is making a difference for others. You know, to make sure that this journey that I've been on, both financially and living my best life now and retiring early, whatever, that I can help people feel like I feel, that yes, it is possible. And with positivity, you can overcome a bunch of things. Then in July of last year, I had my heart issue and my bypass surgery. And it was a good reminder to me, or a lesson, that, hey, these videos are going to live forever, or for at least as long as YouTube keeps them up. And how amazing will it be to have a grandchild someday who's grown into a teenager that can maybe watch this video and see, you know, what I was like at 58 and the things that I had to say. And maybe even that grandchild, that yet to be born person, will learn a lesson tomorrow from something that I am saying and doing today. The other thing, which is probably my favorite now, is the community. I have people, and it's going to be some of you, that have been commenting on this channel and watching the videos all the way back to a year and year longer ago. And it feels like a community. You know, it is really strange. The more someone comments, the more you kind of feel like you know them, and hopefully the more you feel like you know me. And I know we're not real friends or anything, but it is wonderful to have all these people who leave these positive comments of support, and then especially those that share their own life story about what they're doing on their journey to be financially independent, retire early, and live their best life now. That is probably the greatest kind of comment, those people that I am learning from just as much as hopefully they are learning from me. So let me encourage you, have you ever thought about starting a YouTube channel? Have you thought about this popping on the camera and talking? You know, it doesn't matter the number of subscribers. It doesn't matter if you get monetized. What matters is that you are creating a legacy, that you're having some fun. Maybe you find your purpose. Who knows? You might be a guy like Buzz over at Buzz's Retirement Garage that sits on a bucket one day and talks, and next thing you know, he's got tens of thousands of viewers and a giant community. It just takes turning that camera on the first time and just, hey, seeing what happens. I think you can do it. All right, again, thank you. This is the celebration. I told you a little bit about why I did this, how much revenue we made, the struggles along the way, and hopefully some encouragement for you if you were to want to do something like this. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being part of David in Progress. Thanks for those thumbs up, and thanks for the comments. You got to say those things on every video. Just thank you so much for being part of my channel.